This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On Air.
Welcome to Books Uncovered, an exciting conversation about books and literary events, brought to you by the Dunedin Athenaeum Library and Mechanics Institute.
I'm Holly.
And I'm Bella.
Over the next half hour, we'll dive into themes ranging from romance to quirky book blurbs, all discovered within the depths of the Athenaeum Library. Kia ora, thanks for tuning in. For those of you who don't usually listen to our show, my name's Holly. I'm the head librarian at the Athenaeum and Mechanics Institute, which is a sort of hidden library in the Octagon, the lower part of the Octagon. Lots of people who live in Dunedin don't know we're there, but it's been there for 155 years and started down in the Exchange in 1851. Anyway, I usually do the show with Bella, who is on holiday still, very lucky for her. So I'm going to do it solo today, and I'm just going to have a general chat about new books that we've just bought in for the library. So I buy books in every month. Usually I get them from the UBS, and I take requests from members, so that's also another good reason to join. So to become a member of the Athenaeum, anyone can join. It's $69 a year, and you get a tote bag and a book written by Jim Sullivan, who is a Otago writer. It's a really interesting book called Reading Matters. So the first book I'm going to talk about today is a book called Lost Lambs by Madeline Cash. I came across this book from, I won't name the name, but a bookseller based in New Zealand who was recommending it. So it's a debut novel from an American writer. She's based in New York. She's about 30 years old. She's the founder of a magazine called Forever Magazine, which is, quote, an independent literary and art publication with a deliberately subversive feminine point of view. I had a wee look on it. It seems to have quite an Instagram presence. People like Miranda July follow it. Her fiction, so Madeline Cash's fiction, has appeared in Granta, the Baffler, the Sinawi Review, and the Drift. I mean, all American things, well, apart from Granta. The blurb on the back is, for the three Flynn daughters, it's been a disastrous since their parents opened up their marriage. Abigail, the eldest, is dating an ex-soldier several years her senior, nicknamed War Crimes Wes. Louise, the middle child, maintains a secret correspondence with an online terrorist. And the brilliant youngest, Harper, is being sent to a wilderness reform camp due to her insistence that someone or something is monitoring the town's citizens. Casting a shadow across their lives is Paul Alabaster, a nefarious local billionaire. Rumours of corruption circulate, but no one dares dig too deep. No one except Harper, whose obsession with Alabaster's machinations sends the family hurtling into a criminal conspiracy, one that may just finally bring them closer together. The Guardian calls this writer a happy and energising new voice, so that's Lost Lambs. It's got a horrible book cover. but yeah. So the next one I'm going to talk about that we've just bought in for the library is a book called Party Boy by Breton Dukes. So he's, for those of you who aren't familiar with him, he's a local Ōtepoti Dunedin writer. He's the author of three short story collections, What Sort of Man in 2020, Empty Bones, and Bird North. He's worked in hospitals, language schools, gymnasiums, bars, kitchens, factories, and government call centres, and he's received the Creative New Zealand Lewis Johnson New Writers Bursary. So the book's about, I'm just reading the blurb of all of these books, and probably at a later date, Bella and I will dig a little deeper into some of these books. I just wanted to give listeners a taste of the new books that we buy in. So Party Boy. Marco is stressed. On one hand, he's a cook in a progressive city bar, a married father of 3, doing all he can to raise his boys right. On the other, slightly burnt hand, his life is chaos. Every day seems full of cruel, unusual obstacles, from temperamental arancini to a car breakdown at the worst possible time. Painkillers and booze can only do so much to protect him from the fallout of his adolescence, the bullying, the fear, the things that were done to him and the things he did. Now his 50th birthday is approaching, and all the ghosts of his life are invited to the party. It feels like his last chance, though he isn't sure for what. I was just looking up. I haven't read this book yet, but I'm looking forward to reading it. I think he just had his book launch at WOOF. Maybe it was like a week or 2 ago. And the Broken Heartbreakers wrote a song, which I think is based on one of the characters. So Newsroom Review wrote that Marco is a refreshing character because we already have no shortage of depictions of the rough-hewn exterior of the stoic New Zealand male, but few of the sensitive little boy inside, and this book is an attempt to explore that disjunction between exterior and exterior. That's Party Boy, Boy Breton Dukes. Another book that we have brought in to the library is called Such a Perfect Family by Nalini Singh. I'm sorry, I'm probably not pronouncing her name right. She's a New Zealand author of Indo-Fijian descent, and she's published over 3 dozen novels, and she began writing in 1999. She's described as one of the most famous authors in New Zealand that New Zealanders have never heard of, which I thought was quite interesting. I think she sort of started off writing romance and then predominantly now does sort of crime books. So this book, Love at First Sight, a whirlwind Vegas wedding, a fairy tale romance. For 79 days, Tavish Advani has been the happiest man in the world until his new life turns to ash. His wealthy in-laws' house is going up in fire explosion. His badly injured wife lies in a coma, her family all but annihilated. Tavis thought he left the sins of his LA life behind, but it's not so easy to leave behind an investigation into the deaths of several high-profile women, all of whom he professed to love. Tragedy and death follow him no matter where he goes, but this time he knows he's innocent. Desperately trying to clear his name as the authorities zero in, he begins his own investigation into the fire and learns that his wife's picture-perfect family may have been nothing but a meticulously constructed mirage. The truth is much darker than anything Tavish could imagine. That's Such a Perfect Family by Nalini Singh. I tend to buy one crime book a month because the Athenaeum library has quite an extensive collection of crime. We also have a really amazing collection of cozy mysteries, which are all in our stack. We have a really interesting New Zealand section of both fiction and non-fiction, and lots of contemporary fiction as well. So I'm going to have a little pause, catch my breath.
You have been listening to Books Uncovered, brought to you by the Dunedin Athenaeum Library and Mechanics Institute.
For more information about hosting events or becoming a member of the Athenaeum Library, please visit our website dunedinathenaeum.org.nz or come in and visit us in the Lower Octagon. Our opening hours are Tuesday to Wednesdays 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. and Thursdays 2 p.m. till 6 p.m.
To listen again to this episode or to find other podcasts in the series, look for Books Uncovered on oar.org.nz or your favourite podcast platform.
Welcome back. Just talking about new books that we've been buying in at the Athenaeum. So the next one is called The Art of a Lie by Laura Shepherd Robertson. She's an award-winning Sunday Times and USA Today bestseller author of 4 historical novels. Her books have been featured on BBC Two's Between the Covers and Radio 4's Front Row and Open Book. So The Art of a Lie is her 4th novel. Hannah Cole's world shatters following her husband's brutal murder. Her confectionery shop, the Punch Bowl and Pineapple, teeters on the brink of ruin, just as she uncovers a hidden fortune, money her husband secretly possessed. A new nightmare begins. Henry Fielding, the renowned author, suspects illicit gains. To save her inheritance, her shop, and her very reputation, Hannah must delve into her late husband's secret life. But as she unearths a labyrinth of lies and deceit, she finds herself entangled in a battle of wits far more dangerous than she could ever have imagined. It says, if you love a slice of clever, witty and twisty historical fiction, then this is the book for you. Apparently there's quite a big twist at the beginning of this book. So that's The Art of a Lie by Laura Shepherd Robertson. The next book I'm going to talk about is Colm Toibin, A Long Winter. Lots of people will be familiar with him. He's an Irish writer who has numerous awards and began writing in the 90s. So this book is One Snowy Morning. After arguing with her husband, McGlue's mother walks out of their home high up in the Pyrenees and does not return. With his younger brother stationed far away on military service and his father cast out by the people of the town, McGlue and his father are left to fend for themselves. Together they will be forced to battle the elements and their resentment of each other through the long winter. McGlue's desperate searching for his mother is only interrupted when Manolo, an orphan servant boy from the next village, arrives to help out in the house. As McGlue is forced to confront the reality of his mother's absence, Manel and his silences and longing gaze offer the promise of new love and another kind of life. The Guardian writes about this book, the most striking example of Toibin's emotional control, an eloquent expression of the bond between a mother and a son. He's a writer I haven't actually got to read yet. One of those big names that are on your list, like Graham Greene is another one for me. The next book that I am going to talk about is a book by New Zealander Charlotte Grimshaw, her new book, The Black Monk. So those of you that aren't that familiar with her, she was born in the 60s. She's a short story writer, columnist, former lawyer. Her most recent book from this is called The Mirror Book, which is an autobiography. She's written both fiction and non-fiction, often drawing on her legal experience. Her short stories and longer works often interlink themes and characters and feature psychological and family dramas. She's also the daughter of writer C.K. Steed. So The Black Monk she actually wrote a short story with the same title, and there's also, I'm not going to remember their name, another author, Russian author, who also has the same title for one of their books. So this one on the back says, a woman haunted by family denial, secrets and a shadowy figure. While her brother Cedric spirals into addiction, Alice Liddell finds herself confronted not only by his decline, but by memories of the past. From their chaotic Auckland childhood to her present-day life, Alice is haunted by a mysterious figure she calls the Black Monk. As Alice tries to hold her family together, the Black Monk appears in various guises. A stranger met in a cemetery, a face on television, a character surfacing in her own writing. Part psychological thriller, part family saga, this is a daring novel that examines the themes of the moment, shame, addiction, truth, and the stories we tell to survive. I read that Alice is influenced by it's based on C.S. Lewis's Alice, the real life one that he was influenced by to write Alice in Wonderland. So I think this book has got a lot of layered literary references throughout, which has had sort of a mixed review for some reviewers. So the next book that I have brought in to talk about, if I can find my notes, is a book called Some Bright Nowhere by Anne Packer. So Anne Packer is an American writer born in the 50s. She attended the Iowa Writers' Workshop in the 80s, and she sold her first short story to the New Yorker a few weeks before receiving her MFA. I get the impression from what I quickly glanced at online is that she maybe had a bit of a hiatus and she's come back to writing. So this is her sixth book. It's a Oprah book club book. There's also an Anne Packer in New Zealand who's a crocheter, so not to be confused with her. Some Bright Nowhere. Elliot and his wife Claire have been happily married for nearly 4 decades. They've raised 2 children in their sleepy Connecticut town and have weathered the inevitable ups and downs that come with the long marriage. Now 8 years into Claire's cancer diagnosis, it's time to gather their loved ones and prepare for what comes next. Through Claire's illness, Elliot has willingly and lovingly shifted into the role of caregiver, coming to appreciate the new intimacy this creates. But as he focuses on settling into what will become their last weeks together, Claire makes an unexpected request that leaves him reeling. It says about this book, Some Bright Nowhere explores the profound gifts and costs of truly loving someone and the unexpected feelings we experience as the end of life draws near. The next book and last book that I've brought in to talk about is it's actually an older book. Ottessa Moshfegh. It's called Mr. McGlue. For those of you that aren't familiar with her, she's an American writer based in New York. She's been writing for about 10 years, and she's most known for her book, My Year of Rest and Relaxation, which personally I found a little bit testing because I read it. It's about a woman who decides to not leave home, and I accidentally read that when it was 2020 lockdown in the UK, when we weren't allowed to leave our home, so it wasn't the best time to read it. So I'm actually quite looking forward to engaging with some more of her work. This is the first book that she wrote. It's a novella, actually, published in 2014. It's prefaced by an epigraph from Emerson. The young men were born with knives in their brain. So this is set in 1851. They've said I've done something wrong, and they've just left me down here to starve. Haven't had a drop in days, more or so. So that's Salem, Massachusetts, 1851. McGlue is in the hold, still too drunk to be sure of his name or situation or orientation. He may have killed a man. That man may have been his best friend. Now McGlue wants one thing and one thing only, a drink. Because for McGlue, insufferable, terrifying memories accompany sobriety. A sail on the high seas of literary tradition. Ottessa Moshfegh gives us an unforgettable blackguard on a knife-sharp voyage through the fogs of recollection. It's had quite mixed reviews, but it is her debut, so, I think her ongoing success as an author is kind of, a testament to how talented she is as a writer. So we buy books in every month, and usually I'm trying to sort of grow the collection and diversify it. We have a new poetry section, which is predominantly made up of New Zealand writers, particularly Dunedin writers. It was started because Vincent O'Sullivan, the late Vincent O'Sullivan's family donated us some of his collection, including his books, and we also had donated Ruth Dallas's books from her literary estate. So that kind of makes up the foundation of the poetry section. It's a very interesting space. We have lots of events. You can look on our website. We have all our recent books are uploaded on that. We also have a catalogue, which you can search our library. We don't have our books that are on the stack listed there, but you can search pretty much everything else. What else can I tell you about the Athenaeum? It is run by a committee. We have our AGM coming up later this month. There's about 6 people on the committee, and I'm the only person that works there currently. Later this year, I've been awarded an amazing opportunity to go to Melbourne as part of the Writers' Festival there. It's done through the UNESCO Cities, Creative Cities. So the literary program is roundtable event. So myself and 6 other candidates from around the world will all be heading there in May to share about best practices and running events and that sort of thing. But there'll be plenty more on that I will update as things progress. We'll probably, hopefully, be hosting the National Poetry Day again at the Athenaeum as we did last year, and also potentially running a few things for the Zine Festival this year, which will happen kind of in October, November. So yeah, there's a lot of things coming up in the pipelines. If you're interested in learning more about the Athenaeum, we have an Instagram account. We also have a Facebook page. And we are open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. After Easter, we'll be open on Fridays. And yeah, we always welcome people just to come in and have a look. We get a lot of tourists visiting because they see the library sign out there in the Octagon and coming down to have a look. So yeah, very welcome to just come and have a nosy. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for this week. Hopefully next week, Bella will be back from her holiday and we'll have an exciting show for you. Have a good week, everybody.
Books Uncovered, exciting conversations about books and literary events, brought to you by the Dunedin Athenaeum Library and Mechanics Institute.
Join us, Holly and Bella, every second Saturday at 12 p.m. as we dive into themes ranging from romance to quirky book blurbs, all discovered within the depths of the Athenaeum Library.
That's Books Uncovered.
Saturdays at 12 on OAR FM and online at oar.org.nz.
This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On the Air.